Hey beautiful folks of internet, this is Sushmo and welcome to my channel. And someone right now is about to win a macro lens for their mobile phones. For those who don't know the context of this giveaway, I have a page called 35mm.app where I'm trying to create a community of photographers. We regularly do photography contests there, and recently we were doing a photography contest with the theme of animals. All kinds of entries were accepted, and it's so interesting that we got so many entries and all of those photos were so good and so great. I'm about to announce who is the winner, but before I announce the winner, I actually want to talk about the contest, especially how you were supposed to participate in the contest, so that this clears out how you should participate in the next contest. So the theme for this contest was animals, and there were simply three rules to participate. Number one, whichever photo in your profile that you want to participate with, all you have to do is go to your profile, select that photo on your profile and tag us in that entry. Okay. Rule number two, if you're not following us, please follow us. I mean, if we are trying to give away something for free, I think a simple follow is appreciated. And rule number three, that in any post on our profile where we talked about the contest, just go in the comment section and mention one of your friends. And the reason we did this, because this rule number 3 helps us reach more and more people. So I hope the rules were clear, and these are the rules that we have to follow in all the contests. In case rules are changed, then I will definitely mention it in the contest itself. A few more details about the contest. First, if you are sending us your entry by direct message, it won't be accepted. If you are using mentions, it won't be accepted. Only way entry is accepted if you have tagged us. I kept saying this so many times on my Instagram stories that please don't send us on direct message or mentions, but people kept sending us. If you have tagged us, it's accepted. If you have not tagged us, it's not going to be accepted and the entry is void, no matter you send us direct message or mentioned us. And the reason for this is very simple. When someone mentions us in the contest, all I get is a notification, but later on I cannot see what are the all entries where I was mentioned. Similarly, if you're sending us direct message, your entry will be lost in all the messages that I receive. So in the end of the contest, I cannot go and select which are the entries. But when you tag us, all I have to do is go to my Instagram profile and go to the tag section, and I can see all the entries. And even the best thing about tagging is, no matter when you uploaded the photo on your profile, when you tag it, that's when I will see it in my tagged entries and in that certain order. So it becomes really helpful for me to see what are the entries for this contest. So I hope that clears out something. Second thing, when I repost a photo on my Instagram profile, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that that entry has been selected or rejected. It doesn't even affect the decision when choosing a winner. The reason I repost is just to help those photographers who are taking so nice photos to reach more and more people. That's it. It also serves as a nice content strategy for myself. I can generate more content by resharing those photos. That's it. When I repost, it has nothing to do with the contest. Please understand this. The reason I'm clearing this out because I keep getting messages so many times about why you're not reposting my photos, and that's the reason. It has nothing to do with the contest. And the reason I can't repost everyone's photo is simply because I get so many entries, I can't repost all of them. So I simply choose some random photo that I like and repost it. So I hope that clears out all the rules and the terms and conditions that were required to participate in the contest. Now before I dive deeper into the contest details and just choose a winner, I want to put a very clear disclaimer that I'm not a wildlife photographer. I'm just a random dude who likes to take photos and is trying to create a community of photographers on the internet. That's it. Please understand, my aim is not to choose the best photographer of this country. And whoever wins doesn't mean he's the best photographer, or who is not winning doesn't mean that he's not a good photographer. Photography is an art. What you think is good doesn't mean that everyone is going to think is good. People make decisions based on various things that they feel comfortable with. So please understand this part, that when I say I like this photo, I don't like this photo, it's my opinion and it has nothing to do with you. you can still be a good photographer. Interesting part is you might send your entry to multiple contests and you will see that in one contest it might win and some other contest no one is considering it. And that proves the point that photography is very subjective. That being said, I will try my best to stay as neutral as possible and try to consider as many factors as possible to select a winner. Now, when it comes to photography, especially photography of animals, what I think makes a great picture are as follows. Number one thing that I think can make a animal photo very interesting is when you show their environment, when you show their habitat. For example, if you're showing some animal that lives with the family, it shows how they live. If you show an animal who is hunting, it shows what kind of environment he lives, what kind of food he eats. So showing their environment can make a really interesting photo. Sometimes a photo can also be very interesting if it captures an animal which is not seen normally. For example, a cat and dog, anyone can see it. But maybe an Arctic fox is something that no one sees that normal, right? It's not that normal to see. So if you capture a certain animal or bird which is exotic, I think the photograph can become really interesting. Third thing, if you capture different perspective of some animal can make a photo really interesting. For example, when we see some insects, usually they're very tiny, but when you take a macro photo of them, suddenly the perspective is changed and it looks so interesting. And it doesn't simply mean that you have to go and take a macro shot. Sometimes going closer to your subject with a wider lens gives a very nice perspective. Of course, you can't do that with wildlife photography, but maybe with pets you can do that. Another thing that can make a animal themed photograph really interesting is when something interesting is happening, when there's some action happening. For example, animal going for hunting, for example, a dog playing with a ball, for example, a cat jumping. So these kind of photos where you show some interesting thing that they are doing, or you show their habitat or your environment, or if they have never been seen, those kind of photos make really interesting. If you simply take a photo of a cat or a dog that anyone could have taken it, then it's very difficult for you to stand out in the crowd. So these are things that I think can make a photo very interesting. Now moving on, I felt there are 2-3 issues that some people were doing a lot. Number one, in some photos the animal was blurry. It was not in proper focus or it was blurry. And usually that is understandable because animals move a lot. And that means that you need to have a proper understanding of shutter speed and focusing while taking photos. If you're simply shooting a photo of animal with the settings that you use on humans, it might not work out. Animals move a lot and they can move really fast. So you have to make sure that you understand your shutter speed, you understand your focusing, and you're able to take sharp photos. Another simple issue that a lot of people do is that they are not patient enough. You simply can't go to jungle and point your camera to an animal and ask the animal to pose for you, right? You have to be patient. You have to stay. You have to stay for a while for the moment to happen. Again, like I said, you have to think how can you make your photos interesting. I saw some photos of birds on this contest which was shot when they were about to eat their food, and that's so interesting because they were so close to the water and taking the fish out to eat. That makes it so interesting. A lot of people took a photo of birds simply sitting on a branch and it looks good, I understand it, but the moment someone put an effort to wait for the bird to take off or to land or to eat the food, capturing of that action makes the photograph so interesting. So I hope whatever I'm trying to say is clear and makes sense to you. Now that being said, the winner for the contest is this entry. Now the reason I chose this entry is because I think the photo is super interesting, like a bird sitting on a head of deer. I've never seen such a photo. And again, like I said, take such a photo, you have to stand and wait. No deer has a bird on his head all the time. The photographer must have waited for that moment to happen. Of course, he didn't knew it, but he was patient enough to see something interesting, and something interesting happened and he took the photo. And not only the photo is interesting, the way it's composed is also, it looks very interesting. The animal is actually looking towards the camera, again something very interesting. and it also has the dark and moody vibe, again making something really interesting. So this is the entry that I chose for the winner. So if you think there's something that I missed or something I should have considered while choosing a winner, then just let me know in the comment and I will respond to you. And like I said, I'm just a photographer, just like all of you. I'm not here to choose a good photographer or the best photographer of the country. I'm just here to make a community of photographers, and that's the aim of 35mm app, to create a community of photographers where we recognize each other, we appreciate each other's works. That's it. Who wins or loses doesn't matter at all. Everyone is a good photographer, and the photo that you are taking is your art. The thing that you want to express, you know it. Alright, so these were my points, and I think this is the winner. Let me know what you think. I'll be waiting for your comments to see what you guys think. Meanwhile, thank you, have a nice day, and we will see you in the next video.